Hello and welcome. Today we are going to go ahead and take a look at the Bullfrog. So the Bullfrog is the next ship in my Safari line of ships. As a Safari ship, it has to have an infirmary, an armory, and sleeping for a minimum of 4 people. For this particular ship, I decided I wanted to start with using the Ares cockpit, which you can see right up front here. And then I decided to just kind of build the rest of the ship around that idea of starting there and working my way out. Additionally, I decided I wanted to go ahead and have the Ares cockpit be on the same level as um, the lander. So I had to decide whether I wanted to use the Stroud lander or I use the Tayo lander. And in the end, I decided to go with the Tayo lander for this ship. So let's go ahead and start with the interior tour. So with most of my Safari ships, I decided that it needed to carry 4 people or maybe a little bit more. But for this one, I decided I wanted to have this 3x2 mess hall. And then if you've got a mess hall, you probably just want to go ahead and have enough space that it makes sense to have one rather than just using the galleys. So this ship has a little bit more um, bunk space than otherwise. So you can see we go in through the Tayo lander. We are immediately going into a one-by-one companionway. Right below we have our docking port. So this is the central access to the ship. Straight ahead we can see the interior of that Ares cockpit. Then on the to the side right here, we have one of our armories. This can be either the Deimos or the Stroud armory. They both share the same interior layout. If you prefer having any of the other armories, you can easily swap this out with them. Alternatively, if you like the general layout of the ship but would rather it be a settler rather than a safari, just swapping this out for the workshop would basically change the ship purpose. Otherwise, they both it has everything it needs for either of them. On this side, we have our infirmary. This particular one is a Nova Galactic, but again, if you have a different infirmary you prefer, you can always use that. Then we have the ladder going up. This one is going to bring us into the Nova Galactic 2x1 um, control station. What I was looking for here was I wanted to have a hab that had a nice open layout here. And it would either be this control station or it would be one of the various living quarters. Now, we do not need a control station for more crew capacity because the Ares cockpit already provides us with 8 crew capacity, and that's generally going to be more than enough. So this is kind of a general do whatever you want with it hab, not necessarily it has to be this one. Next, before we go back, let's come off to the side. And you can see right over here, I have a Tayo 2x1 all-in-one. So we've got 4 bunks and a bathroom over here, as well as a galley here if we wanted to use that. I would imagine in this ship the galleys on these all-in-ones would not be used much. Here's the second Tayo all-in-one. And then coming here to the back, we'll pass that ladder for the moment, and we come into a Hope Tech 2x3 cargo mess hall. If you wanted to, this could be a cargo hall instead. Just it seemed to make sense to have a mess hall. And we have over here a nice little area with a TV, storage case, and this could either be where you're doing a presentation about what animal you're hunting, because it is a safari class ship, or it could just be a place to sit down and relax while you're on your trip. Then we come to our ladder right here, hop on up, and this is going to be another companionway. This one is going to be a Tayo. Over here, we have a all-in-one berth from Stroud. And then over here, we have another all-in-one berth from Stroud. Note that there's the A and B variation. This is just going to change where the galley is, whether it's on that side or that side, and whether the bathroom is on this side or this side. Because of this entranceway here, we do want to make sure that we get this correct, because otherwise we are going to be losing the bathrooms. Despite the number of times I've used these habs, I still don't have it memorized which side the bathroom is on, so I frequently just have to go ahead and put them in, check to see if it's doing what I want, and if not, flip the version. And then forward here, we have a Tayo 2x1 captain's quarters for the captain's own private sleeping arrangements. And that is the interior of the ship. So, now let's go ahead and take a look and see how we build it. So we are here at my outpost on Kodos. For once, it's a sunny day instead of a rainy one. And I am using a mod that makes all the parts unlocked at my landing pad. This will go ahead and only unlock parts that I have available. So if I did not have access to a part, like say the Vanguard autocannons or auto projectors, I do not have them available to me. But if it's just location locked, like say the 2x3 hab, I do have that available to me rather than having to go and run off to the specific manufacturer for that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start by just going ahead and popping my colors into my palette. And you can see I've got colors 1, 2, and 3 for my green there. And again, colors is always something that you can choose for yourself. I just kind of like this color scheme, so I decided I'm going to pop that into my palette after I do the rebuild. Alright, now that I have those colors, let's go ahead, select all, and delete. So how I always like starting my ships is the landing bay, and I'm going to flip this to be the rear axis. And then here I'm going to go ahead and select my companionway. As I said, the bottom one here is going to be the Nova Galactic. And then in front of this, I'm going to go ahead and add my cockpit. If you look at the cockpits, you can see the DS30.1 Ares bridge does not require Starship Command, but each of the other variants does. It is also a rather expensive cockpit, which means that this ship is not going to be a cheap one, because this one's coming in at 35,000 versus, say, any of the Phobos cockpits, you know, even the most expensive one, coming in at 7,600. So just do be aware that you are spending extra for this particular cockpit. Next up, on this side here, I'm going to go ahead and come on over to my habs. And this one was the Nova Galactic 2x1, and this was the infirmary. Then on this side, I have the Deimos armory. And then I'm going to go ahead and right here I had the Nova Galactic 2x1 control station. Again, this can be basically any 2x1 hab, it does not really matter. Next up, off the back of this, I have the Hope Tech 2x3 mess hall. I am actually going to move that so it's a center door access. Then here, I'm going to go ahead and grab, I was using the Nova cross passage. If you would like to, you can use the Hope Tech cross brace. The difference here is the Hope Tech cross brace weighs more, 14 as opposed to 4. However, this comes with a top and a bottom connection point, in case that matters to you. For this particular build, it does not, but just something to keep in mind if you are using these passageways. And I'm going to put one on each side. Next up, I'm going to come on down to the tile, and I want to go ahead and grab the tile top berth B, and I have a pair of all-on-ones, one on the end of each of these cross passages. Next, I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm grabbing the tile companionway top of B, because this has these side connection points. Again, if you prefer a different companionway, you can use that instead. Off the front of this, I am using the tile top A, because this does not have side connection ports, and this is going to be how I guarantee that I am not getting the side connections to the habs on the side. I'm going to make this the captain's quarters. Then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to choose the Stroud 2x1, and I'm going to go with the B. So I'm 90% sure that the B is on this side, but if it's not, then I'll have to go back and redo that. And then on this side, I will go with the A. Alright, that is it for the habs. Now, we come down here and just grab the docker really quick. Just using the slim docker on the bottom. Alright, next, let me go ahead and grab my grav drive and my reactor. For this, I need to pull these off because the grav drive and reactor fit into these little pockets right here. As for which one goes in which, it really does not matter. Use whatever you want. So I'm going to put the reactor on this side. On this particular ship, I'm using the 134mm torradial. And then on this side, I will put the grav drive, and you can see I'm using the R3000 for the 23 grav jump thrust. I could also use the Helios 300 for a slight mass savings, but it's entirely up to you on which one you want to use. Alright, now that all of that is back in place, let me go ahead and start with the bottom of the ship. So, first things first, I need to go ahead and add my landing gear. The ship is using I can talk today, I swear, 4 AccuLander 11 landing gears, 2 on each side under these habs, and then under this one. Then, off the back of this, I am using the structural, using the Stroud Cap A's, like this, and then I can just copy that straight on over here. On this side, I am using the Stroud Cap C, or Cap D, sorry, one on each side. And this is basically just providing a little structure coming forward that I can mount various things to. Next, on the inside, I am going ahead and using the Dymos bumpers just to kind of fill in that little area a little bit. And then that is it for the bottom, aside from, of course, weapons. Next up, coming up to the mid, I have the Dymos spines here and here. And then I have the Dymos spine Ds, and this is just sloping up to get most of the way up to the top of this, and just kind of getting it to flow nicely there. Then I'm going to go ahead and come on down and choose the Hope Tech Nose Cap B. And then I'm going to flip that into place. Note, I do need to set that into the side so that way it exists, and then move it into place to flip it on. I just put it into place, and then I flip it on PC, that's Z, and then flip it back, and then hit cancel, and there, now it stays. Alright, continuing to work on this level, let me go ahead and grab the Daimo's belly. Again, this is going to be flipping in right here under the captain's quarters. This clips in slightly to the Ares bridge, but it's basically clipping into some structural components, and you will not actually see this as you are walking through your ship. Since we are still working on the front, we might as well just finish up here really quick. I'm going to go ahead and toss a braking engine on right there. And then down here, I'm going to go ahead and grab a Taio nose cap. You could either use the nose cap or you could use the braking engine. It's kind of your choice. Then I'm going to rotate around. And right here, I want to go ahead and slap in a porthole. And then come to this side and slap in another porthole. Next, since I'm still working on structural pieces, let me just go ahead and put these pieces on. I want to grab, where is it? The nose cap A. There we go. And we're just kind of filling this whole little bit out. All right. Next, I'm still working on structural pieces. Let me just grab my porthole. And then here I'm going to go ahead and grab the Taio cowling rear variant. And then on this side, I want the Stroud cap B. And I'm going to put one of those on each side. So you can see I've got 2 arrows left. I don't have my engines yet, I don't have my fuel tank, and I'm also missing my shield. So for the shield, I just went ahead and hid one under here. You can put it basically anywhere that you want, and you can choose whichever shield you want. For this particular ship, I went ahead and just grabbed the Marduk 1010A, which is a fairly lightweight shield, but I could also very easily go ahead and grab, say, the Deflector SG30, and you'll see that that hides perfectly under here as well. So, whatever shield that you want, and if you don't want to hide it, you don't have to. I like doing that. I think is the correct way to put that. Alright, so now that we have our shield, I'm going to come pull this cowling back, because for this ship I went ahead and I put my fuel tanks as a 400G HE tank right there. And if you don't want to, you don't have to have the Taio cowling covering that. As you can see, it doesn't cover it completely. It kind of bulges out a little bit. But again, I like to hide some of these things. Another alternative is you could go ahead and put something, say, right here. And if we were to grab, say, the Titan tank, that's going to hide a little bit more or a little bit less, just depending upon how you want to put it. Now you will note another easy place to hide something would be under these Stroud caps, and you're correct. But what I'm hiding here is actually going to be the cargo. And I have a pair of the 200 cm ballast cargo holds on this ship, one under each of these. Note I could also go ahead and also hide the 100 cm ballast cargo hold there if I wanted to. And then I just need to flip this into place. Alright, so my last error is that I do not have any engines yet. For this ship, I am running 2 Ammon-3 engines, here and here. And then I am also running 2 Ares DT30 engines, here and here. And you see this is enough to get me up to 65 mobility. I do have enough engine power that I could add some more engines. I've got 4 available engine power left, but I don't see any strong, compelling reason to add more engines. Um, if you do get Starship Design, a even to level 1, a very easy change here is just tossing in the SA 4100 engine, and you can see just one of those is actually giving us the same mobility stat, and the second one takes us up to 97 mobility. So just that one small change there could make a very big difference in how your ship performs. And it's also kind of emphasizing how important getting that Starship Design is if you want a more powerful ship. Now then, the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add the weapons. For this ship, I'm running... I have the Disruptor 3300A auto electron beams. And I'm putting 4 of these on my ship. And then I also have the PBO-30 auto electron beams. Again, I have 4 of these on my ship. And you can see that credits are back to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and place 1 here, then 1 there. Bring these over here. Place the first one right here, and then the second one right there. Now here, I'm going to place a 1 on each of these Dymo spines, and then I'm going to pull off these nose caps and use this space here, the weapon mounts on the Ares bridge, and now I have to flip this back into place, but it's not a big deal. Alright, now I have an error. It is that I need to assign my weapons. And then it's just saying, hey, you might want to add engines or reduce mass to improve your mobility, which I don't really care about at the moment. All right, so that is the ship. All that's left to do now is paint it, and I'm just going to start by painting everything black. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint this center bit and these sides green. And then finally, the cockpit red. There we go. And that is the Bullfrog. So, let's go ahead and take it out for a spin. And get some pictures. Well, that's a first. I managed to bonk myself on the debris hard enough to hurt my ship. So let's go ahead and find somewhere that is less debris strewn. Like Bindi here. There we go. It's always kind of cool when you can get that shot in space with the planets lined up, or planets and moons, I should say. Just seeing that all there is a always fun experience. All right, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.